Hello, good afternoon, welcome. It's Sunday. The Comic Cavalcade conference is underway. This is day one of the conference, and we're going to talk about some comic type books. Welcome to those of you who are going to watch us live, and those of you in the future. Do we have flying cars yet? It's Rasa and me. Hello, how are you?
Hello. You need to explain to me what's cavalcade means. I don't even know how to say it.
Comic Cavalcade conference. Cavalcade. I don't know. Let's do a.
Oh, afternoon.
Let's do an actual. Hold on a sec. What is going on?
Maybe I shouldn't have asked.
A formal procession of people walking on horseback or riding vehicles. So a group of us, the Royal Cavalcade, proceeded through the city. So a group of us, a little a group.
Yeah. I got it. I got it. Thank
Hello,
you.
62 Lefty Blues. Good afternoon to you. Look at this, 3 people viewing already. Big numbers this week. Smash that like, smash the subscribe, pound the bell.
Yeah,
let's get this viral.
Yeah. Wouldn't be bad if it would be more people talking. Hello. Ian.
Hello, 420. How you doing, man?
You guys need to change your names. Google apparently screwed that over. The names, people showing up on thingy.
Sorry?
Your name tag. So you would probably 420, right? His channel name.
Yeah, 420 is his Land Partier 42069.
Yeah, so I think apparently Google or YouTube, whatever, screwed that over. So they kind of included the name.
I see.
Reading Mage.
Reading Mage all the way through for the first time. That's amazing. And how far are you in, and how is it so far there, Lefty? I don't know if I've even read a single issue of Mage, to be honest.
I think I scrolled to some random Mage book somewhere, but I never picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so
how's
the procession?
How's the TV viewing going? We're like 19 episodes into Deep Space Nine now.
Oh wow!
And I'm loving every single episode. We watched number 19 for season 1, was kind of like top rated is what it said on IMDb. So it's one of the more outstanding episodes.
And was it outstanding?
I thought it was fucking phenomenal. Like, again, it's hard for me to like separate myself from these shows because I just think the writing is so goddamn good. The episode before it was Deanna Troy's mom was in the episode. And her and Odo, she had a big crush on Odo and basically wanted to bed Odo, let's say. Yeah. And it was the thing that's so good about the show and shows like that is that, like a good single issue of a comic, there's a story that kind of frames that. There's also a story that's sort of bringing the whole world into context. But then in that, like, you get these moments with Odo and her where he starts talking about like his past. Basically growing up in a lab, and there was this scientist is the only person that's ever seen him transform, and how he was used at parties as kind of like a party trick. Hey, Odo, turn into a chair. Hey, Odo, turn into this. Hey, Odo, turn into that. So it starts giving a little bit of context to like why he's the way that he is and why he doesn't like parties. And it was so they're stuck in this elevator. It was such a touching episode. Those moments between the two of them were so fucking good that I don't know, man, just giving that color to these characters, right? Like giving them a bit of a backstory and digging into them. I'm so loving watching it again. Lefty saying he had collected them years ago and never completed, came back to it and tracked down the collected versions. 1 down and 2 to go. It's great. Matt Wagner killing it with potential. That's amazing. I should give it a shot sometimes. I do see them in the back issue bins.
Shut up. Now I'm talking because it's Matt Wagner. How much I read Mage, at least 1 volume, because I bet like my library had it. Because now just he talks about Matt Wagner. I remember because I remember Matt Wagner was for when I just started collecting comic books. It wasn't a lot of people's lips of recommendations, like shit out the car. There's so much recommendations, you get lost in the sea of recommendations, and you're like, like close your eyes and pick one out and just maybe go for it,
Yep.
So it reminds me of definitely, because it's magic elements as well, so must be something I would have been interested in.
Yeah, for sure.
I like Deep Space Nine. Have you actually watched that Borg episode of new TV show? I said
We
not
stopped at
Borg, but
episode 3, and I haven't watched any other ones yet. Because
you've been
every
there.
time we sit down, me and my wife, we watch that one because it's a show we're watching together. My daughter wants to watch the new one, but she's been actually focused on school lately, homework and things, which is not a brand new thing, but it's newer to her in as much as there's more of it now than there was before. So she's been really good at focusing and doing that. So I mean, eventually I'll try to watch it again. It's just that third episode turned me off, and I'm just loving watching Deep Space Nine again so much that when I sit down, that's like the go-to, let's watch that. Oh, we're also watching one called School Spirit, I think.
What is that?
And my daughter turned us on to it. I'll share the screen and just show you. It's I think it was going to be, holy shit, everything has changed here. Here's the plus button down here. Share screen. School Spirits. There we go. So is that showing up?
Yeah.
So there's the third season is out now. I guess what it originally was they were going to do a graphic novel. And then they started doing the show, and the graphic novel was still being written. So I think the graphic novel came out in November of last year, possibly, but it's in its third season of the show. This main actress is so good. And if they ever did a TV adaptation of Friday, she should play the main character, that hairdo. It's honestly, it's a really good show. I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying it as well. It's definitely geared more towards like teens and things like that. It's this school where all these deaths have happened, and the ghosts of the students are there, and the main character something happens. I don't want to spoil too much. Something happens, and she starts being able to see them and communicate with them, and it sort of just kind of develops from there. And it's legitimately great storytelling. I don't know if it's the most original thing out there. Like, they had the Breakfast Club episode the other day, for example, where they all get detention on the weekend and they're running around the school. So it's playing off a lot of stuff that some of us have seen time and time again, but I'm still finding it like genuinely good. And my daughter loves it, and she loves the mystery element in it. So it's kind of fun to sit and watch it with her and talk about the show. The same kind of thing it was with the Marvel movies with Jaden, going and watching those with him. It was so much more fun because of the kind of conversation and the engagement, right, with the kids. So that's one I'd recommend checking out.
So you didn't watch the Wonder Man then?
We didn't. So we watched School Spirits and then Deep Space. So how was it?
Very good. Surprisingly, you cared about the character. You like the support actor. So I forgot the name of the actor now. It's of course because his name I need to remember. But he was in Iron Man 2. He was a Mandarin. That's the actor. So he was there because he's like, oh no, I'm just it was all the joke what happened in Iron Man. He was a actor who got employed to create this Mandarin character, and he was trying to just escape from the past of getting, because everybody thought that he's the huge terrorist and stuff like that. So, and then so his support of the Wonder Man, and then you follow the guy Wonder Man and his past and how he became, and he's like an actor, struggling actor with special abilities, but those special abilities are not good to show or people know. Yeah, Kingsley, thank you very much.
Yeah, Sir Ben Kingsley. Yeah, that's right. Hey, yeah.
So yeah, Sir Ben Kingsley basically kind of like really stole the show because of the acting capabilities of the man.
Yeah.
But the Wonder Man character, he has done really well for himself, because I think it's a struggling basically kid who has a dream to become something big, he's obsessed with movies because he went one day to see a movie of Wonder Man with his dad in cinema, and they want to recreate this movie, Wonder Man, once again. And what did you actually basically find out that this dude actually has powers? And the story it flourishes like because so they can't be showing the abilities, because if you do show your abilities, you can't be an actor. You become like a person who they want to lock you away because they are a problem for society. They're going to destroy them. And there's this department who's basically on the lookout for him. So what they do, they use Kingsley's character as a spy to get him to know the person, actually find out all his powers, what kind of powers does he actually have. Because they just hear the rumor, right, about the kid. Because the first accident he had when he was like 8, 9. So from that point on, we're still struggling to be actor, but hiding himself from the true, what actually his abilities are. It's so nicely done. It's only 20 minutes an episode, 25 at
that's
most.
good.
So it's very refreshing.
Yep.
The stupid thing that I think I agree with people saying after watching the show that Marvel has kept that movie under, like this TV show, under wraps for 2 years apparently, because they were afraid that it's not going to be kind of like or popular. I don't know what actually happened that they didn't release it, but honestly, I think it would have stolen. Like a lot of people are saying, it's well worth watching. It's one of the more refreshing TV shows that actual Marvel produced. And they introduced the character which you don't really know. I don't even, as a comic reader, I haven't read Avengers of the old, right? Silver Age Avengers. I one issue there and there, and I saw Wonder Man there, but he was never my attention to keep, right? So, and they're creating this TV show with a like really kind of like human side of the things, like just he's trying to make his due, but he's afraid to show what he can, and he has this abilities where he cannot really control because it's basically it's emotions what gets hold of him, and those emotions basically explode in something. I'm not going to tell a full story, but it's really good. It's well made.
Cool.
It has actors and also it's the way it's scripted. It felt like I want to watch more, and it did really help that episodes weren't long. It's really refreshing to watch it. They still have the same like formula of the way they do the TV shows. Is quite slow at the beginning, but then when it starts, it just goes like really flying down. It's I think it's 6 episodes only. They saying also that they shouldn't have taken them out all of them at once, because like it's a kind of, you could be quite a good slow burn and it will reward really nicely. But if you binge watch, it's definitely a really good watch as well. So it's very understated TV show, which I was surprised by. I'm actually like, oh yeah, I would watch it again if they have something to say, because it's just the way it was built, not taking it seriously, but actually had story behind it without pushing the narrative of him being a Wonder Man, right?
Yeah.
I also heard that maybe it's a bit of a spoiler. Maybe I shouldn't say, but you don't care, do you?
So it's 6 episodes, and they're 20-something minutes each.
25 max.
25. I mean, Jesus, I'm sold on just those 2 points alone.
And that's the thing. It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
It's not like it ends and you're like, oh, are you willing to? You say, oh, I actually want to watch another one. Whereas some of the episodes, which like have like 45 maybe to 55 minutes long, and that drags sometimes, especially when it's kind of slow burn at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think I agree with lots of people's opinions saying that Marvel really did it. Like if they had something this good, why they didn't just did it properly, kind of thing? Because now the show is ended and everybody was already talking about Daredevil.
Oh yeah, right.
It's coming out in March.
Yep.
So he's gonna get forgotten, and I think that's what they thought. They thought maybe they haven't done a good product, but the acting skills of all of them, all the characters there, they had all, like Kingsley, of course, took over, right? Because he's such a character, and he has this, like really kind of like aged actor, as he said. I am actor, and I'm taking my role really seriously. So it's like, it's so fantastic to watch. Kingsley is fantastic, and the
Yeah.
way it ends, it has those nice snippets. I actually guessed the ending. I was like, this is gonna happen like this. It has to happen like that. You can't just chop it, like. And it exactly happened the way I was thinking. So it rewarded me really well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting it, they were building it, and then suddenly you see this end. It's like, yeah, I know exactly what's gonna happen next.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I'm fairly was chuffed watching. My husband likes it, so that's a rare thing. He doesn't like a lot of things.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so but
And
Marvel seems to be
he was
open.
on board, eh?
Yeah, Marvel is open to quite a bit, but not everything, right? Not everything
Yeah.
sticks. Because some of the stuff is like a drag to watch, right?
Eternals. Fucking drag to watch.
I don't know. It's like, honestly, there's Eternals. I don't. Maybe I'm as I don't know. I am very open to a lot of things. To be honest, I don't judge. I do judge stupid, right? There's some areas of stupid. So that, of course, is visible. And when it's too visible, it becomes quite a pointless. Why you spend so much money on stupid visible, right? Because you don't, underestimate people watching. At the end of the day, you have to stimulate those brains if you want. So I think Wonder Man is well worth time of people if they want to spend watch the first 20 minutes, 25-minute episode, and it won't kill you,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, check it out. So
Yeah.
Daredevil in March, eh?
Apparently, yeah. So everybody's already talking about it. March. So it's going to be season, what? It's the second part of this.
I think so. Yeah, of this new version or whatever, Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I'm curious.
Kingpin
Like we talked
Kingpin
about
is going
before,
to just
I'll definitely be there. Yeah.
Yeah, Kingpin is basically taking over the city, right?
Yeah. Well, and let's be honest, it should kind of be the Kingpin show to some degree. That's the most engaging story I find, anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't think, because I remember clearly how Daredevil felt like a little bit like a pussy, to be honest. Every single time. I mean, I know he has own struggles, but the way they portrayed him it's a bit of an asshole and also a bit of a coward in some areas, and you're like, the books we're reading, it doesn't show that in Daredevil. What the hell are you doing in the TV show?
I mean, it shows him having these crashes for sure. Like, that Born Again series, for example, like he crashes pretty fucking hard. Yeah. But I mean, that's part of the enjoyment because you see him build himself back up again. And, that's self-doubt. Like, again, I think we talked about it before. That's one of the things that appeals to me about that character. Because, I mean, who doesn't have self-doubt at some point, right? And the struggle that is, I find that the most rewarding about those books. I mean, art and everything else is incredibly rewarding as well, too. But I mean, that story resonates, I think, across a wide range of people, right? So.
Yeah, but I think in TV show particularly, they really just forgotten about Daredevil, and I just gave all the chops to Kingpin, and I know Kingpin, but
as they should.
Yeah,
he's a fucking strong actor. I like the actor who plays Daredevil. Don't get me wrong, but D'Onofrio is a strong fucking actor, and his relationship with his wife or whoever that actress is, I don't know her name.
Yeah,
their relationship and the way they play off each other is fucking outstanding, dude. It's really outstanding.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's interesting that they couldn't find the right balance between two things, right? You could have given both the chops, and because you need that Kingpin to become, he's our overbearing man who can take over anything because of that, first of all, the acting skills, but also the script they're given to him, right? He's using every single bit for it and experience, and it seems to be the Daredevil. Well, at least just it felt like it, that he didn't get those parts where you can just have a little bit of more glimpse of Daredevil kind of like helping, like coming off whatever, but they just didn't have time to do that. I don't think, as I say, it just didn't marry together really well. At least that's what I felt.
Yeah.
But and also, what else did I watch? Oh yeah, I finally finished that animated movie.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
Was that some tree and the sleeping woman?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with the frog in it and stuff, right?
Yeah. So I was thinking it kind of ended in a way too mildly, because it was a bit more trippy than I would have expected. But it ended up being like you almost could have had really good landing. So you follow this dude who is basically staying in a job where he's really comfortable with it, but he's never gonna reach his potential, and his boss is talking to him and saying, look, we're going to downgrade this company, and you sitting in that position doesn't work for us. So do you want to leave, or do you want to take a week of holiday and decide whatever you want to do next? Because it seems to be that you're not getting anywhere, and we don't see you going anywhere with us as well at the same time. So that's a shocker. Then we find out that this dude who's basically about to lose a job, his girlfriend leaves him because she's watching a TV show in Tokyo about this earthquake, and suddenly her head goes absolute. I'm dumping you. I'm done. I'm packing my stuff up, and that's it. And so he gets dumped by the girlfriend. Then he decided to go to some family in the town, and he goes visits. Oh, his cousin as well. No, nephew. He came to, and they have this crazy like life story between together. And then we follow another guy from the same company, but we don't realize it right like in the middle of the movie, and he's hallucinating frog. Nobody explains why the hell. He's having like proper conversation with him, not bit like when he's at home, sure, but then afterwards it comes actually while he's in the public. And this frog comes to tell him that, okay, Tokyo is going to be Armageddon, and it's only you who can save it. Because as we know, Tokyo and Japan, not like Tokyo as a city, but Japan as a country is tremoring every single day. And it's just like non-stop, right? There's volcanoes active under blah, blah, blah. So, and there's news on a TV show saying there's a huge, massive drop in the shift of the earth. Like it is actually like split. And anyway, so everything goes all together. So while this guy is hallucinating this frog, this dude is exploring his own well-being and seeing understanding. And he goes to his niece, nephew's place, and then he goes to eat, and there's this nephew asks him a question, do you mind to deliver this package? And it's quite a faraway city. And he's like, why the hell not? I mean, I don't have much to do. Like, I'm wasting my time here, but I'm looking for myself kind of thing. Goes, delivers to this package to this faraway city in Japan, and meets these two girls. And those two girls like proper flirting with him. He doesn't know what to do, and he's like staying over there, gets delivered the package. One girl disappears, and the other one just completely stays there and starts telling her stories. And he's wildly, so he's having this sex imaginative dream while he's talking to her. And I think it becomes the reality. But what wakes him up is he's choking her because she said something he doesn't like. And he goes like absolutely crazy. So that's basically this. It's like you follow those two characters, and then right at the end, I almost thought he's suicidal. So you would actually kind of deliver the story right at the end, but actually everything came out to a point where he's kind of daydreaming. I think he's been smoking or something, and he's sitting down in this garden and he's looking at the sky and he's floating like he's. Conscience is going up in the air. It's very weird, and the way it ends is kind of like in that kind of sense. And like, I don't know if you have, but it's made in Quebec.
Okay.
So it's all based in Canada.
Yeah, right.
And the animation is what really kept my interest, because the way they use the color, the way the people were portrayed, right? And the way it was just interesting how, because I thought there would have been a bit more underlining story, maybe it left for your own imagination, right? To follow and make the story whatever you feel like, because that's what I felt like the guy would have done. But it just kept like to a point where he's just hallucinating in a kind of his ends. Why are they calling sleeping lady stuff? Because, well, yeah, his girlfriend watched this TV news and she left him. Maybe that was it. So I maybe misunderstood in some points. But I was fascinated. It kept me alert for like, 1 hour and 30 minutes? That's the length of the movie. And I like those kind of like animated, especially it just gives you, like maybe inspirational things for art-wise, but also just to see what people's head is at, right? Creatively, right? And they're using,
totally.
Asian, Japanese stuff, which is kind of fascinates me always because it's that far away, and some you read a lot of the like mangas and stuff like that, you kind of start to get more interested in stuff like that. And
Yeah, I mean, the themes that can be explored, right? Like everybody thinks it's animation is just kids stuff and the usual that
yeah,
all of us have come across in our
yeah.
even comics. I was talking to my
Oh,
wife about, or I was talking to my son about one of the books I read this week and showing him some of the art. And my wife was sitting there and I'm kind of explaining roughly like what part of the story is, just very broad overview. And she's like, what? That's in a comic? I'm like, yeah. Like you said to people that you've talked to, it's like, oh yeah, that's
yeah,
comic story. That's this particular comic story.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So it's all stories, it's not just like superhero or not just kid friendly. It's all sorts of themes and stories.
So what this animated movie, did really well, I think it nailed it. One thing is that known that factor that Japanese don't share their emotions. Like you're supposed to not say how you feel, right? You're not supposed to be getting depressed. You're lonely in that little corner of whatever, and you just have to take it without like showing that off to people or talking about it even. So that was nailed perfectly in that animated movie. So in that sense, it was kind of like to the point where how the culture like that has to deal with all situations we're dealing with without being like so inappropriate to be emotionally unstable and something like that. You have to be like look
Yeah.
sane in the public eye, which is extremely difficult. And I know, like like you watch social media, right? And there's lots of people who actually live in Japan, and the one underlying message they always kept saying is how lonely the place can be, because they're unfriendly. Traditions are very like difficult. You have to be adhering to them quite precisely, but then you feel like it's being, we don't care, we won't talk to you because you're not Japanese, right? And that's really big essential part of it, which is quite difficult to even thinking about, even though I would be probably more fascinated. I heard that's mainly the big cities like Tokyo, Kyoto
Yeah.
problems,
And I
right?
imagine that's same no matter the city, like as far as like
Yeah,
the interpersonal relationships in
yeah,
a big city are dramatically different.
yeah. But I follow this like countrysides where apparently Japanese have a huge problem with countryside because the people are keep leaving the countryside and going to those big cities because there's no money left. You have to live in the city in those little boxes, right?
Yeah.
And the countryside where old people lives I find it very fascinating because that's just untouched anymore by lots of people, right? So there's only like the few who are brave enough who's now these days can actually make the money online, for example. They don't have to be in the city to work for money, can explore those kind of areas. And that's for me is right tick for me. I like watching that stuff because I think it's quite interesting with such a like traditions and long-lived traditions of Japan, in particularly how the countryside is kind of left on the wayside. Like schools are not. If you have a family, it's a problem because the school is not open because there's not enough kids living.
Right.
And then how kids are, it's all that kind of cultural things, which just makes me fascinated. And that's why the animated is just stoke the fire of me wanting to kind of understand and see what people's other points of view are,
Yeah,
which made
totally.
in Quebec, right, in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway.
Do you want to talk to us about something you read this week?
I do have something presenting, so
Do you want me to add that one now?
that's probably the best thing I've read so this week. So you decide. Shall I show it?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So this is Mad Cave. It's
Oh, yeah.
extremely beautiful. It's the animals story is built really well. So Pierre Alexander Comtois is a Quebecian as well. Okay, so he's
Oh,
from.
yeah.
What's going on with Quebec and stuff? Like I keep on.
The arts, man. It's the arts. They support their arts in a big way in Quebec and Montreal,
Yeah.
and
So
they
he's
definitely do.
Yeah, I think Mark Englert is the artist.
Okay.
Let me see if this shows, but it's really
Oh, nice.
beautifully done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, he's an artist as well. Oh, Mark Engel, it's a colors. This guy, this Mark, colors are stunning. By the way, this copy of this book, it comes in hardcovers. It looks perfect. Honestly, on the like the way it looks in digital is great, but in paper format looks fantastic as well.
Mm.
And this guy is a huge fan. George Lucas, Peter Jackson, Clive Barker, Neil Gaiman, Guillermo del Toro, Stan Winston, Rick Baker, and Hideki Miyazaki. So
Mm-hmm.
that's who's inspirational for him was.
I
And
mean, that's a good list.
yep. And the story starts with this guy in charge.
Mm-hmm.
There's this creatures he is ruling by. Apparently in this world magic used to be present, but it doesn't anymore, because I guess this dude who is the bad guy, who's this guy running towards to explain what's happening, he's kind of hoarding all the magic, and this is showing what happened beforehand to start. So this is of course the vampire bat has to be the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
So that's the dude.
Cool.
And then so this is a huge fight, and then says this, which is probably French, or maybe not, doesn't make any more sense. Sic parvis magna. I don't know. Did I say that correctly or not? I don't even know. But yeah, it's awakening. And we say we follow this goat boy. The animation, or animation, they even say he has the chops of an animation. He was working for Disney and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And those
Yeah.
people storytellings are superb.
Yeah.
So he nails each panel really well. The emotions are portrayed fantastically well, and honestly the story is really good. So this boy is kept on the safeguard by monastery, because he's been given to be guarded by with a piece of letter saying that he's special, keep an eye on him. And he's been kept so much under wraps, like on the glass dome, where he's not allowed to do it. The only thing he's allowed to do is translate. So he's a bookworm in the same time, because of, that's what he's been taught. But he has this childlike demeanor, and he has this secret place, and he's gonna go there to explore and stuff like that. That's his tree house. He has, nobody knows where it is. But he's like, when somebody is kept under glass dome, you want to get out, right? Help and explore, meet new people. And because you read so many great stories, you feel like you have chops to be part of the, like you get to know people, be interested in everything around. So very loving character at the beginning, and this is the guy who's in charge. Honestly, seeing when people are able to draw bears, it just takes every single thing for me. I'm a huge fan of Brother Bear. I sobbed my eyes out both movies. It helps with the soundtrack as well. Phil Collins nails everything on music. So yeah, I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to bear animated or drawn things. It's so fantastically done. So anyway, and there's this magical element to this, because this is the place where they dig stuff out from the earth, but it's levitating. So there's some elements of magic still kept in place, but it's not really fully things. So and then you follow these things happens. I'll show you, but I don't want to spoil the story at the end. It's only first volume, so it doesn't actually tell you the full story till the end. But what it does really well is keeps your attention going really well. He gets in trouble because he tries to help this guy. It's like, I told you not to get out. You're not allowed to do this. I'm gonna keep you in a lock and key now, like a Cinderella or that girl with the long hair. Yeah. Rapunzel. There you go. So anyway, and they've been told off. And then this is the best part. They don't mention anything about it, but there's like alien almost looking guy, part of the monk. So it has really those really good notes of it. It's definitely, I think it's I hope I'm gonna get to read this for my son as well, because it's well worth. It's very happy-go-lucky, but with the scary elements, of course. Yeah. But honestly, it's such a well-noted first volume that you can't really have anything bad to say. It has magic element, there's adventure element, the characters looking like somebody who would get in trouble because he's too believing. So this is where the action's about to kick in. So he's a bookkeeper also and translator. So he has this huge library to take care of. He gets really angry when he has a bit of a OCD, where people don't put the books in the right places. And he's like, oh my God, the only job you have to do is just put the books so I can take care of them. That kind of thing. And then he sees this book and he's like, I've never seen this book. What is this? What's happening? And then he's touching the book. Suddenly it unravels. The self has to be a glowing things, and that's what happens to him. And from that point onwards, his adventure starts to kick in. So it's really
cool.
good. It doesn't have like a full reward to understand exactly his part of it, but he's called almost like a chosen one kind of thing. And he's like, he doesn't understand. It's like, nobody has told me that I have to be part of this great thing, because I've been under wraps in this glass bowl where I was not allowed to go out. And suddenly the door's going to be open for him, and he's have to go on this little adventure. Really good. It's lots of action, beautiful paneling.
Yeah.
This is the bad guy about to be revealed, I think, or the magic, or maybe not. It's just a hint of information, but it's really good. So yeah, this guy is telling him, you know what, I can't keep you anymore because of what happened to him. There's like, okay, surely something is really special happening to this guy, and we have to find out what's really truly behind his past and where does it come from. So yeah, find Sunder. It's, I don't know how is it, what does it actually mean. What does Sunder mean anyway? I don't really know.
Which one? Where? Sorry.
Sunder is the name of the book.
Oh, no idea. No clue.
Yeah, so this is the name of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Matt Cave. I didn't know they do this stuff like that. Really good.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah, so it's on the bookshelves. So you can find them. It's a beautifully done hardcover. It looks as good as inside as it is in digital format, by the way. So the art is really well printed as well, in very good quality. And I don't think it should be as expensive, I presume. But yeah, it's such a, like for that kind of tale, it's for kids definitely to read, but it has this elements where it's even tickles your own like little child. So it's really well told. I really like the characters.
So maybe you said at the beginning and I didn't hear you. Is this a new series then, or is this something it's already out and you've just kind of discovered it?
I don't know, to be honest. I discovered it by seeing a picture of this, and I went on a research part. I saw that this is out. It's volume 1. I don't know if it came out. I don't know how Mad Cave operates, to be honest. Mad Cave is not somebody I'm actually follow. So how they do it? Do they do it in singles? Do they do it not in singles? I don't know. If they would have done that in singles, I would have picked it in a heartbeat. But it says volume 1, like in French, tome 1, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I thought it would be translated, but then I found out that this guy is actually in Quebec. So
this one, it says it came out, May of 2025. This first volume.
Oh, okay.
Cool. On the Mad Cave website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Really beautiful to look at. Highly recommend to just explore more if that appeals to you guys. But it's really
this as well too.
What do you see?
What do I do? Hold on a sec. What's going on?
You can share the page, right?
If you go to Mad Cave, look at that. It's on sale. I don't know. Is that showing up?
Oh yeah, it is perfectly. Yeah.
So on sale, digital, physical, hardcover, and trade paperback. So right from Mad Cave itself. So there you go.
Yeah, it's really well. Cool. I don't know. It's. I saw it. I mean, it really appeals. The work. It looks digital, to be honest, but he has. Oh, I'll show you. If I. Ooh, what is this? I'll show you. If you. Wait. There's extras. Oh, there. So he's showing character designs. In this thing, so it's all drawn on piece of paper.
Yeah, nice.
But it's you can see the chops of the artist for sure. He has character creations and the characters you're going to be involved, and the evolution of Goat Boy and how he wanted to see him as. Honestly, it's all of them look kind of fantastic. To be honest, I would have.
They do look good. Yeah.
You wouldn't have been minding to have these kind of like look of him, but.
Well, I was going to say, even at the beginning when you were showing the first couple of pages, it looked like, the black and white and the pencils and stuff. That would be cool to see it that way as well.
So he's from Montreal, Quebec.
Yeah.
And he said like Warner Bros., Disney, Netflix, DreamWorks, to name a few. And raised on ample of amounts of European comics such as Asterix, Bulle, and Spirou. So, And of
Makes
course,
sense. Yeah.
later on in his life, he got discovered the pit and the savage dragon, and that's how he got into stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
nice.
Cool.
As I
Yeah.
say, one
Looks
of
pretty good.
the probably the best read I done this week. Really,
That's
it just
good.
have really a strong first volume story for me. At least, sometimes not probably the best, but like really worked, clicked everything for me. Like just felt like such a good thing after you reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing to have for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start off with something new.
Oh. What is it?
So
Hot book alert?
brand new, I think.
No. Ooh.
Spirit of the Shadows from Oni Press.
How did you hear about
And
that?
I feel like I've seen this artist before on
Okay.
another series. So it's Daniel Ziegler and Nick Cagnetti. And it's
Oh, look at that art.
yeah. So it again, it's one of those that ticks a lot of boxes. There's a huge amount of Kirby in here. There's a huge amount of like kind of Doctor Strange in here. There's some Ditko-ish type elements.
Yep.
So it
I
sort
can
of
see
like
it.
treads territory that I've read a million times. So I would say that's the thing that was kind of the dullest part about it, that this, it was just a book. But some of the art was pretty great. The coloring is pretty fantastic too. And basically this guy who is in kind of like the death realm, and he's got these powers. So he's sort of like a Doctor Strange where he can traverse these different realms. I mean,
really?
look at these pages, man. Like that's so this demon, this monster up here is eating his journal. So that's kind of the thing that keeps you tied to I'm guessing at some of this stuff. It doesn't say it explicitly. This is the kind of book that keeps you tied to like the physical realm. And when he's down here in kind of like this afterward, the Gentleman Sorcerer, it's he discovers this woman who has who's lost her book. So he's trying to help her. Let's see if I can find. Here she is here. So this is him helping her, and she's down in the corner here. She was going to get kind of destroyed by this creature in this underworld. Yeah, Curbtastic is exactly right. Like it's huge, Kirby. But then there's these moments that, like, to me, that also screams like Dan Clowes. You know what I mean? So it seems like calling on a bunch of different things. So a fun enough book. I mean, I'd give it another shot. I don't know if it's a mind-blowing read. Like I said, it's not things in here that you haven't read. It's one of those really like paying homage to kind of some of their influences, wearing their influences on their sleeve, I guess is the way you would say that. So yeah, but it's brand new from Oni. January 2026. Yeah. So story by Daniel Ziegler and Nick Cagnetti. Art and colors both by Nick Cagnetti. So yeah, not a bad thing for a new book.
The art looks stunning, and the colors are really black. What is it called? Black light posters.
Absolutely. Yeah, which is that I'm a sucker for that stuff. So as soon as I saw it and flipped through it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this, because I didn't have many books. I think I had 4 books to pick up this week. Oh no, 5 books, because one was for Lillian. So
I was always very jealous of seeing people having those Doctor Strange posters with a black light, because that looks stunning. But I heard that they are extremely rare, right? And they are like sought after and like a collector's item now, right? The poster, right?
They did a book where they recreated some of them.
Oh, really?
A number of years ago.
Oh.
What the heck's the name of the channel? I'm blanking on the channel name right now.
Yeah,
I haven't watched them. I don't even know if they're around anymore, to be honest. He was showing them off, and then Daryl D had a video within the last month or two where he went to a comic shop and he was talking to the owner of it, and in the background he had all the original posters up on the wall. This guy in this comic shop. It's an incredible shop. Like it's beautiful. So if I remember, I'll put the link in the description of this one, and I'll send you the link to show you.
I like seeing those. I've never seen it in a physical, like actual display.
No, me neither.
I've never seen it in a comic book shop. Even like that would be something. I don't know if you want to display. Like you would be like, it's like a collector's item now these days. Some posters are the same. Oh no!
2 original Kirby Blacklight posters. They are gettable, but pricey. I paid a few hundred for one. Oh, wow. Lucked out on a Doctor Strange one at a junk shop for $10. Holy hell. That's a score there. That's a score there, library. That's an amazing score.
So there's a holy grail came through, eh?
Yeah.
Well, it's something, you know, like if it says it's a junk, but it's something you believe, it's like something you want to. Yeah, it's those rare finds are fantastic, isn't it? No wonder you get so addicted to looking for comics and stuff like that. But
yeah, totally. People don't know what they got.
It takes a lot to go into comic book shop and say, wow, this is like a fantastic. It has been a while since I experienced that. It happens to me with a couple of stores, maybe in London, maybe one, you know, like I feel like, wow, it's amazing. They have a heck of a, like display wise, they really knows what they're doing. They really proper understands comic books and all that kind of stuff, you know, like it feels like you want to stay there and just sit down like a child on the floor and start reading all the comic books they have, even though you're not allowed to. But yeah, it's kind of rare. But yeah, seeing those kind of things, I would have wanted just to see it with my own, without being in the screen. I would like to see how those posters actually look like, to be honest.
Yeah.
Knowing especially the age of them, you know, that's fascinating me as well. So.
I mean, the ones that Daryl shows off in that video, or that he shows in the background or whatever, they look like they were in pristine shape. So
yeah. Okay, so I guess I found the Cinebook book in a library. It's more like, I mean, I read it.
Nice.
But Lucky Luke has always been on my radar for a long time. Of course, I have not grown up with the European Lucky Luke books. I have kind of there and there. I know the character. I think I watched some of cartoons. I recall I did, but maybe I'm kind of dreaming. I don't know. But so yeah, because of the Cinebook, right? It's kind of thing. My library does sometimes have like library sections in this area where I am. They do have, but they scattered around. So the ones I go in to see if they have anything, they do. And I wanted to kind of get my son to explore this world a bit more. The color schemes in this book, it just screams blueberry. It's just those yellows and reds in the desert area, and there's like Lucky Luke is being chased, and he has this beautiful skills of shooting and stuff like that. And he gets in trouble because he's wanted for $5,000. And there's this girls, actually family of 3 girls who's cattle farmers, and they were going through the areas of Apache land, and they were being attacked, and Lucky Luke was in the right place in the right time and kind of managed to help them to kind of escape or, you know, divert the attention. And all those girls had this competition. Whoever kisses him first, that's the ones who's gonna basically winning the situation. Because at first they felt like he's an enemy, and then because he was so willing to help them, it became their affection. They didn't understand because they're so beautiful. All the 3 sisters are so beautiful, but how come he's not noticing them? So they had made this pact where whoever kisses them has a chance to go on a date with him without him knowing of that. So it's very funny storytelling, you know, beautifully told West story. I just chanced to get this one, but there's this guy who did a video about Lucky Luke, and he mentioned this book as well, because it's not the earlier stuff, right? Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's new Lucky Luke, exactly, North America. Yeah. So it's by Matthew Bonhomme. I think you know the name, right, Terence?
It sounds familiar. Yeah.
So anyway, so it's really beautiful to look at. The bad guy is almost, I don't know the name, but there's this really crazy jawline actor which were doing westerns in that time, and this guy screams of him. If you can see his jawline, and he has this crazy profound cheek line.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the guy.
No, me neither.
But he screams that one. Maybe it was an inspiration. So yeah, there's lots of things happening with them, of course. A lot of mischief, and it's really fun. So if you guys Cinebook has those albums of Wanted, Lucky Luke. Anyway, so yeah, highly recommend if you want just to explore. Yeah.
There you
That,
go. Did I mute myself? No, I didn't.
yeah.
So yeah, this is 2022 is when this one came out. So 68 pages.
Not
The
many
one that
people are aware of it. Yeah.
the one that I have, I've got a newer one as well too. I don't see it pictured here, but
Was it?
I don't remember when it came out. But yeah, it's the one that I have is great too. Yeah, Jack Palance. That's the name there.
Hello, Paula. How are you doing?
Stop sharing. There we go. Hello, Paolo. How you doing?
Yeah, so I want my son to, he's not really like, it's not really much into cowboys yet, but I want him to be exposed to this as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, the new one is getting more traction than traditional. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not one that I see, like, I'll see a lot of Asterix. I'll see a lot of Tintin.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up watching the Lucky Luke cartoon as well.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, and in our school library there was Lucky Luke books, but it was really Asterix and Tintin in abundance for us here.
I think Asterix and Obelix was my absolute, because that was shoved in your face, right? They wanted to really, they were popular. There was movies, especially, that famous actor, French actor, I think his name is Depardieu, if I pronounce him correct. It's
Depardieu.
Depardieu, whatever, his name. Apparently a big sexist guy, but anyway, whatever. So he was the Obelisk, right? So in the movie. And I watched that, of course, because it was in that time he was extremely in Lithuania. We were absolutely bombarded by French stuff, and actually I really like that, a lot of TV shows. So French actually does lots of crime drama, which I really like, but I never knew, like, because it's translated for us, like dubbed, because I don't speak French. But I honestly liked every single story we're watching. So we were, Asterix and Obelix was somehow shoved in your face straight away. It was very popular in that time, maybe. So all the animation I watched, and I loved it. Rokas watched several, but not still, like, he has his moments. So I'm trying to get him exposed. Just today, I think he was like, "Oh, I'm Smurfs." He's kind of in and out of the Smurfs, but we found, like, I didn't know, because when I watched Smurfs when I was growing up, I had to watch it in Polish because that's the only available in the time when I was little. So the song was ingrained with me. When I hear Polish version of Smurfs, it's just like boom, right, sitting there, memory at the telly, trying to, and because my mom could understand really well, because of when you're exposed to that something and you can't watch anything else, right? Not translated. That's the thing. Nobody would translate. You just watch for Polish channels. I used to turn to my mom's like, "What is that? Psia psia mean?" And my mom's like, "Just this is what it is." I was like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, it's kind of interesting how that worked. But yeah, I wanna. When the minute I see stuff like that, I always want to be on the first kind of take it out, maybe for myself to read. Of course, more for my son. So I want him to be exposed to right things, right?
Yeah, I mean they're fun books, man. And then the beauty is there's a ton to get into. It's not like you have to wait for a new one. I'm Canadian, but grew up in Vancouver, so don't speak French. And when I moved to Montreal, my brain was too calcified to learn it. Dang it, yeah. What else do I have new? I think you talked about it last time, but I did. Whoops! I did get the new Kaya. 33.
Oh no, this is more new. I haven't read this one.
Okay, so then I'll wait. I'll wait for that one.
So you're more up to date than I am always.
Oh, I guess this time finally. Yeah. And finally the next issue of Dust to Dust has come out. So this is issue number 7. I think Chaos and Comics maybe mentioned it on Instagram or something. I don't remember where, but there was quite a delay between 6 and 7, and I kind of wish that this was one of those books that did a little bit of a catch me up, just to kind of put me back into the mindset. And this one wasn't a strong issue, honestly. Like, We do have some sexy times happening in a church, so that's not
Well,
a bad way to start a book.
of
And we're
course, has
sort
to
of
be
just
good.
jumped right in with our main character, this masked kind of Sandman-ish looking guy. And I just found myself having a hard time remembering
Understand.
where the hell we left off and what was going on. And this issue was full of action,
Oh wow,
which isn't
that's good.
necessarily a bad thing, but I just couldn't remember the context for it. So I found myself really lost. So I just started kind of
What?
absorbing and looking at the pictures and stuff. And then also speaking of like photo reference, where's that character? I
Oh, go
mean,
on.
who does this guy? Who does this guy look like for those music fans of you out there? That's clearly Tom Waits being used as a reference there. If you see photos of Tom Waits, like it's
Uh-huh.
kind of unbelievable. Nothing wrong with photo references.
Yeah,
Forgerelli, hello.
your
My
car
Kaya
trade.
trades have taken 6 weeks to finally ship. Oh boy. I mean, that's insane. So I don't know what to say. I'm enjoying this series. I love the look of it. It takes place, in the South, and it's very dusty, and it's always sunny, and there's nothing is growing. They haven't had any rain. They're experiencing a bit of a drought, so all of that really works well with the way they're choosing to present it. But an issue like this just kind of has me thinking I need to reread stuff, and I don't necessarily always want to do that with everything I'm reading. I'm reading a ton of shit. I don't always have time to sort of reread some issues to catch myself back up. So, a little bit of last time. Thanks for tuning in again, kind of thing. A little recap, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. A little recap
Mhm.
wouldn't hurt, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a pity if they don't learn that. I think it really helps, especially if you know they're well, maybe because we don't know how the pressing and printing situation works, right?
Uh-huh.
But if there's a chance that you would have known that there's a delay because J.G. Jones, right? That's his
Yeah.
own writing and his art style has is never been because such a hyper realistic thing. I don't think he's always been very good on schedules. I think I remember reading something with his artwork in it, and I think it was certain delay happened with
Mm-hmm.
his books as well beforehand. So I think if you're aware of that kind of thing, I think as editorial, okay, right, who's in charge of editorial, you would think recommend them to have that because it does really help with like sacrifices. There was a gap, remember, and I think he
Mm-hmm.
didn't put the recap. He usually does, but then that time
Yep.
specifically, like we kind of forgotten about it. Thankfully, you kind of caught on in the right place, but I was really confused for a couple of pages, and that's really does. I
Well,
think a
and
bit
then you get a book like
detrimental.
Kaya, who kind of works that
Yeah,
recap into the cover art, kind of
exactly.
giving you a little
Yeah,
nugget of where we are, which may be a little too far into that, but there's a middle ground there. I mean, to his credit though, he's made it part of his design
uh-huh.
process, which I think is kind of cool
You
that's
read
kind
this
of been
one,
covered.
right?
I have,
That's
yeah.
the
I
one I
did
was
read it.
talking about. That's a
Mm-hmm.
standalone issue with her being in.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't like that one then? Is that what you're trying to say?
The new one? No, I loved the new one. I thought
Oh.
it was really good, but I don't want to say too much because you haven't read it yet.
Yeah, because that's two stories, right? Of him and her being in separate situations, right?
Correct.
Oh, see, I recall really well
Yeah.
because it hasn't been delayed. Actually, Kai has been very strong with that kind of
Been
stuff.
pretty regular. Yeah, totally. Well, and the stories, the bite-sized chunks of story are,
Yeah.
I feel like they're much more manageable because it's not the most complex story. That's not an insult. It's just a fact, right? It's not the most like tons of characters to keep track on and nooks and crannies and
Yeah.
so.
Cool. I go guess. I don't know. I think I mentioned that
Ooh,
but I wanted to. Library had this monster, universal monster things happening. Yeah, you got me.
they
They
better
better.
be. I mean, I
Well,
hope you like them there, Forgerelli. I hope you like them. I feel like if you've bought them based on us talking about them, you've heard us talking about them. So
yeah. If you like adventure, I think you should be okay for Julie.
mhm.
So apparently, like I know people were talking. It's a single format. I think they came out with this Universal Monsters, right? Or is it collected from the beginning?
No, they're all single issues. So
Yeah.
they've done Frankenstein, they've done
Yeah, yeah,
Dracula, they've done
yeah,
Creature of the Black Lagoon. Yeah.
yeah. There's those. There's at the back. It shows you. So yeah, I saw this on the shelves in library. I thought I'm gonna read this, the mummy situation. And right, it's Faith Erin Hicks and Lee Rurich and David Talashki's creation. Faith Erin Hicks is a writer and artist, and of course, if you know Lee Luridge, or I don't know how you pronounce it, right, but he's a very good colorist. So it introduces this girl whose father is a archaeologist who is have a married or had an, I don't know, affair with a lady of Egyptian lady. They got a daughter. They feel like they don't have the same principles as the dad, like English guy. And then afterwards we jump forward when she's in her teens and she's trying to rebel because she's finding it difficult, very difficult to be part of the crowd. I mean, the locals, because dad spends all this time digging. They are very protective of the girl. She's basically kind of like, oh, you can't be with, the people like of your, not your status, right? It's all about status in those times, 1920s. And she of course finds this boy who she gets really attracted, and okay, nice. I breathe, enjoy, and good luck with work. And she falls in love with him. Attracted teenagers, they're all this chemistry and all that stuff. And while it's happening, they decide to go into this excavation point as they dare to each other. And then she goes in, and this dude opens this thing where he says, "Warning, do not do it," but he does it. And while he does it, it hears this chant, and while that happened, the girl passes out. What happens to her then, that she wakes up in this kind of a dream state where she follows this mummy, and she drops again on the floor, losing her consciousness. And then daddy finds out what's happened to you, asking, and of course loses the permissions to go out anywhere. And then she's kind of rebelling, and then she finds out, because she passed away, this entity of a previous girl of the mummy has inserted herself inside her, kind of like possessed her, and she's kind of having conversation with her like almost like like somebody talking to themselves. It doesn't look very good in the public, right? So she's been growing up, and then we jump once again in time, where she's basically comes into a museum where all the artifacts, they finally find this mummy, like they excavate all those pyramids and stuff, and they're looking for, and they found this mummy of a princess. And because somebody did something to the mummy, she also hears this voice, and she says, "I see it's calling me," and losing consciousness. So what happens? The actual love story behind this mummy and the princess, and they, of course, was in love in the wrong time. He was a peasant, she was a princess. Kind of that's what happens. And then she's kind of possessed by her spirit, because he's basically enchanted it, and she was supposed to resurrect it. And they also tells you a little story behind that, how they came to be. It's a love story which ends to a point. She gets possessed, she has a life. The princess wants to be alive because she feels like they were mistreated. The mummy is the lover who's basically enchanted the living dead and stuff like that, and they resurrected itself. So yeah, very good. And then she rebels, of course, tries to take over the body. Really good love story, easy reading, nothing mind blowing, because we watch lots of stuff, Egyptians kind of like folklore storytelling, right? So it's kind of things, if you know that, is probably wouldn't surprise you the heck out of it. But creator who's basically taking their own liberty to tell a story, and of course creating her own kind of a bit of a twist, I presume. But yeah, as a product, not bad, not bad at all. I tried out that first one based on I was trying out all of those issues because I like the idea of that line. Lillian and I read this one, The Nameless City by Faith Erin Hicks and Jordi Belair. And we loved it. This was like a library read a couple of years ago, I think maybe 2 years ago at this time. Really, really loved it. And I just felt like
especially coming off of like a Dracula. I thought Dracula was a really strong read. That was the first one that came out from that lot. Pardon me. And the art style and everything. And this one felt a little too kind of kid friendly, which again is not a bad thing. But in that context of those, I was hoping they would take these in a little bit of a different direction. I tried the first one of Creature from the Black Lagoon as well, and that didn't do much for me. And then there was Frankenstein was the second one, which was pretty good. So the Dracula and the Frankenstein one were pretty decent.
The library apparently is supposed to ordering those, so when there's availability, I might look to see if I can get hold of it. So it sparks my attention now. Of course, Egyptian folklore, tales, and mythologies is embedded in a lot of things, right? In the movies, TV shows, comics, right? Wonder Woman and all that stuff. So it's kind of like fascinating in itself. So it's kind of interesting to see how and where they're taking the stories. But this wasn't bad. Maybe, like not as extreme excitement, right, about it, but it's well-told story. It gave, those color schemes are great. The situation placed and stuff, it was quite interesting. But at the end, it was kind of like, the story. If you have, like, if at all you watched any Poirot stories in Egypt, or like, the things like it's almost to a T what they tell the story like it was before, 1920s, and people fall in love between two different classes. Nobody's happy between two families. Feud. And it just hints of those mythical parts of possessed and spelled, and they resurrect themselves and stuff like that. Pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that's cool. Sort of keeping with that idea then, or that theme then, why don't I talk about these? So freaking movies that have made an impact. The original Night of the Living Dead by Romero in 1969? Is that correct? Something like that. I don't know how many times I've seen it. I had it on VHS for the longest time. I got rid of VHS a long time ago, so I don't know where the heck that is now. But it's one of those movies that I watched a whole bunch. And then my love of things from Fantico, I've been missing issue number 3 and 4 from the first run. Issue 4 just came up. Issue 3 I got recently from Lone Star. And then issue 4 came up just the other day, or the other week rather, so I jumped on it and got. So this is the final issue of that 4-issue run. And then they also end up doing like a bit of an aftermath that sort of leads into the Clive Barker penned Night of the Living Dead London 2-issue series, which I have spoken about before.
I didn't even know that existed.
So this is all the Carlos Castro is the artist's name. And let me put this down here. Carlos Castro is the artist's name. So when it the other thing is when it comes to doing book versions of a movie or whatever, it can really be hit and miss. I think that this one really keeps a lot of the original parts of the movie intact that you're here for, and then ups the ante. Carlos Castro's art for the zombies and his use of black and white, and sometimes where you can tell he's put a lot of time into kind of getting details of faces right. But then he'll go into, let's jump to issue number 3, for example. You'll get these passages with the zombies that are so out of control and energetic and kind of monstrous. And the way that his black and white kind of translates, some stuff will be a little darker. It's amazing keeping the mood of a zombie movie, and especially this being kind of like, the classic zombie movie that kind of set the bar for every single zombie story that we've heard 10 million times up until this point. I loved this so much, and I'm so excited to reread London again, the 2 issues. I read the first issue of London just today, actually, and one of the things that Night of the Living Dead, the movie, did was kind of introduce social commentary into a horror movie. spoiler alert on something from 1969, but our main character is a black guy.
Oh
And
boy.
when everything starts coming together, when the cops and sheriff come in and start saving people, he comes out as the sole survivor from the house, and they kill him and chuck his body onto the fire. So a little bit of commentary on the state of things at that time, especially in the South. So sort of jumping off of that, Clive Barker does an incredible job of, and takes it way further to the point of almost absurdist territory. Like, I feel like if you're going to do these kind of stories, you should go bonkers with it. So this 2-issue series, it's the royal family, and they've survived, and they're starting to have conversations of, well, eventually these dead people, they're going to rot away. These zombies are going to rot away, and we've got to make sure that our bloodline is still good. So they put out the word trying to get a as the Queen puts it in issue number 1, but Mom, why am I so worried about getting what marriage doesn't matter? She's like, so you can fuck my son, you know what I mean? Like, so it's this idea of continuing the lineage, but what he does really fucking well with it is take it to the point of being an absolute absurd story of, like, they have the wedding procession, and also Castro does some great things here with like collage and photos. And they're going through this town that's, it's been destroyed. The streets are filled with zombies, but they're still going through the motions of being out there and waving at people and all this, like, just showing how completely sort of out of touch they are.
Yep.
When he talks about kind of the state of things at the beginning, they sort of give you a history of how it got to the UK. And then where's that fucking shot? One of the, I can't remember if it was the priest or if it was one of the kids, the prince going out. Oh no, it was the bishop. They go out on the road to kind of go for a drive, and they just mow down zombies. And of course, because I'm talking about it, I can't find the passage. Anyway, it just kind of plays it up to this absurd level of completely out of touch. But Carlos Castro's art almost makes some of the shots seem like you're looking at concentration camps because of the disparity between the two kind of classes, right? Where it becomes this, I don't know, man, he just takes it to the next level of social commentary, and I just fucking love it. And I feel like if there was any time for a digging into comics to make a movie out of a comic, that's the one. With what's going on right now, you could insert, and it doesn't have to be royalty, it could be politicians, whatever you want to posit it as. I think that there's a lot of room to just get really cutting with some of that stuff, and I think that's the stuff that resonates. Yes, there's subtlety that I like about Star Trek and things like that, but there's also something to be said about getting bludgeoned over the head with a message and taking it to the point of being comical, the kind of the gap in their knowledge of kind of what goes on day to day with the rest of us, right? So super fun series. And Carlos Castro, who didn't do many comics work, I was looking him up today. I'm sure I've looked him up before. I can't find too much work that he's done out there. So I don't know what the hell happened to a guy like that, because his talent is kind of unreal and fits so well. It's kind of one of the best. It's right up there as one of the greatest kind of comics work that I've read in my life. I love it so much. So very, very highly recommended.
So this is the one you had to like look in my comic shop to actually finally finish it, right?
That's right. To finish the series off, I had to go to my comic shop. And like I said, I did a short video about it. Like, it's one of those, when number 4 came, I just made the order, even though I just made an order. I'm like, screw it. I can't miss out on this book. This is the last one that I need. So I ordered some Ninja Turtles as well, too, to make it sort of a little more worth it to ship it up here. So,
oof, that's a commitment. You definitely like the series then.
It is. Love it.
Yeah. Okay, I have my last read. So, chunkies. But I delved into Nightwing. It's the person I was very interested. I am a huge Dennis O'Neil writing fan, and it did really actually surprise me how good. So this is Bloodhaven Volume 1. Of course, my library only has volume 1. There's 2 volumes, I think. Did they just recently came out with the compendium of this? So I guess there's
Oh
both
yeah,
volumes in
that
one.
could be true. Yeah, I think you're right.
So anyway, I saw this in the library. I didn't know about the compendium. I'm not really like a connoisseur of Nightwing. I remember seeing people picking up singles of this particular run. Even number 1 issue of this run goes like for £30 per like first issue of this. It's I don't know when this originally has 90s, right? And volume or 2000s and somethings. This came out. Oh no, wait. It says 1995. Wait. 96, yeah, 95, 96, yeah. So it starts with 4 mini issues, beginning story of kind of like reintroducing Nightwing to the lore. It gives this passage of him kind of telling him his background story, so you're not getting lost with the character if you haven't read it beforehand. So it's friendly for people who hasn't read it beforehand. It almost tells you to a T where he's at, where this story actually starts, kicks off. But it starts with this those solo series debut Nightwing. So it's 4 issues. The guy is Dennis O'Neill writer, Greg Land and Mike Sellis, creative team. Greg Land is the artist, the voice. Inker is Mike Sellis. Cannot stop 90s looking comic book for sure. At the beginning, I was kind of laughing, but I actually really, after a while, I really started liking it more and more. Of course, all blown out of proportions, this physique of Nightwing, his long hair screams 90s to your face, and you're like, oh my god, I can't not look at it. And it also looks extremely, there's some areas where it almost screams Jim Lee art, like some panels, inconsistencies there, especially in the first issue. And basically, Nightwing jumps into this Bloodhaven because he's tired of being a patsy of Batman, or the way he says in here. And it's like a teenager complaining to Batman, like, oh, I am under your shadow. And it says to you in here that you asked me to be a Batman. I put the cape on. I didn't like who I was. And then he's been like in Teen Titans, and he decided like, oh, screw it. I need to some kind of refine myself or become who I wanted to be. But all this like beginnings of his costumes with his yellow stripes, kind of like, and his long hair. Honestly, it was laughable at the beginning, but I really kind of got so used to it, and actually really complicated panels are really like over the top, sometimes a bit way too busy, but not as busy as what follows after, which it's actual like series where it has Chuck Dixon does a long running standing series for Nightwing in that time. So Nightwing is all like, if I see something catches my eye, that's why I start reading it. And honestly, it's probably the first time I actually fully grasp the idea of where that Bloodhaven is all about, because we're basically concentrating that Bloodhaven's city next to Gotham. It's not as you would think Gotham is kind of like nightmarish city to be in. There's crime sprees. Bloodhaven is apparently even worse. It's almost a sewage type of a city. So basically in here he gets to spot this girl tries to be kidnapped. He interferes, bludgeons everybody. Then he does all the sexy scenes with his 6-packs, and Batman and he's like, oh, here, take my things, I don't want this anymore. And this explains to him, basically complains, saying, I don't want to be part of you, blah blah blah. And then says goodbye to Batman, and it's like, oh, look at me, I am such an actor, or like or guy in the like a Baywatch movie or TV show. Anyway, so, and then he's going to this girl to say hello to her because he's kind of bored. He doesn't know what to do himself. And then she has this conversation. She meets the father in the hospital, thanks to him. And they say, oh, yeah, I would like to meet you, give you maybe we should have a coffee. And then he goes into this place he's living, and he has a sexy scene where he's just like having the most sculpted body I've ever seen in comic books. But it's fun. And also Alfred is here, which is kind of nice to see him in here. Like, it's been a while since Alfred He's been murdered for a long time for DC, to be honest, not being part of it. He is kind of like, oh, what you doing? Why you decided to do? Batman told me I came here just to give you this little note, and the note states that because Nightwing has the way he became part of the Batman's life, Bruce's life, is because his parents in the circus they were murdered, and he became an orphan. This panel here, that's like Jim Lee, Scream, Jim Lee. I remember clearly seeing this, like almost like a Bruce Batman stuff. Anyway, so he gives him a piece of information about his parents' deaths, and he got really kind of obsessed by this because, you always want to find out who killed your parents. And then he finds out that there's this place where circus has been, where the parents were killed. And there's, of course, the tyrant who's a part of this country, and a tyrant who is killing left, right, and center and hiring all these things. When he finds out the Nightwing needs to get a visa, so he phones in, and of course our dictator finds out that this Nightwing, or this Dick Grayson, is actually asking for permission to enter the country. And it stays in here. Oh, finally we can find this douche and end the story of the Graysons. And he hires this blonde guy who has this one hand movement to kill people. And the way he shows it, like, oh, do you care about this person? Oh no, let me kill him. So he kills right in front of him. And he's like, oh yes, you are hired for sure. So it has this stuff, but Dennis O'Neil writes, at the beginning it looks like, it sounds a little bit corny, but he rounds off, throughout his 4 issues, he rounds off the story really well, in a way that you kind of like him realizing, why Batman was there, that he actually really needs him sometimes, that he's been actually given an opportunity to become something. He has like mad skills of fighting, and he wears this shirt with a spot, and it reminds you of old TV shows in the 90s. Really well told. So this is a story, of course, it ends where the dictator gets chopped off. You find the end of the storyline, and everything seems to be okay. And then so he's wearing all this long hair and this spotted shirt, right? But then he decides to wear his new costume, which and then he has this long ponytail, and that's so bad looking. It's even worse what it was beforehand. And then he gets into this fight, and this ponytail is just flying everywhere around. I think there was a time where in movies, right? Those martial artists used to have these ponytails, right? Some bad guys, no? Or
I mean, I guess so. It must have been something going on.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's funny. It's actually a very. I mean, honestly, the panels are really good. I'm just like, the way I maybe presented it's a bit like, that's a bit corny, but it kind of, because of 90s, it kind of screams that for me in my head.
Yeah.
So he runs off the story really well. The bad guy he finds out who was kind of in charge. So this guy was basically kind of the stepping stone where the parents actually got killed by somebody else, not him. But he was tortured in this. They captured, these bad guys captured Nightwing like several times, and every single time he escaped. The last time he got captured, he got into this like cellar where they want to rats should be eating them because they glazed them with honey. And they take the rats out from each corner, nook and cranny, so they climb over you and start biting you alive. So that's the death they wanted to give to Nightwing. But he has this mad skills and muscles, right? So he's so built up. And he found out the true story behind the killings and who did it. And he thought that he found his parents' killer, but unfortunately that was not him or the part of it. So we always kept the mystery about. And then after Dennis O'Neil's writing, you end up going with Chuck Dixon. I need to find that. Come on. Where are you? Oh yeah, this is the way it starts. That's the cover. Famous cover of that Chuck Dixon one.
Mm-hmm.
And in here, you kind of, Scott McDaniel is the artist, and it's not really as poignant as the previous artist was. And it becomes a bit more muddled. It's a bit, what happened in the 90s? I think they tried way too hard to be showing you their skills out. And sometimes it just feels like your eye doesn't know where to go. It gets so muddled sometimes. You
Yeah.
don't like this point. Of course, it's fascinating that you can do perspective, right? Drawings, but it's so busy. There's
Yeah.
no, you don't, your eye doesn't know where to go. There's no attention. It's the only thing what you follow is those little speech bubbles, which your eyes kind of try to follow. But action sometimes it gets, um, you know, away from your attention, kind of thing, and also it feels like the color schemes hasn't been chosen really well. And of course he kind of like in between being part of like Batman's family and of course discovering his own, and he still decides to go to Bloodhaven. He's like, what the heck, like, let's just me spending time in here and discover. And of course he goes into this Bloodhaven to a point where he gets into the wrong position, and where there's this feuding family because there's 21 bodies has been flooding Gotham rivers, and they found out that this the gang who is supposed to be in charge of Bloodhaven has been kind of completely um, uh, murder, like a murder spree, and every single like gang member was being murdered, and they heads been like twisted apart, kind of thing. And Batman is kind of in the way help asking because he kind of is part of the Bloodhaven. He says to Nightwing, "Can you sort this out and see what's happening? Who's behind it?" And the story with Chuck Dixon is this first volume, and this goes for like 6 or maybe 10 issues. And we're discovering with Nightwing who is in charge and why it is there, and why there is one feuding family used to be in charge, and now all the feuding families are basically being eliminated by one person. So as I say, panels extremely fascinating, but too busy. It was quite difficult to concentrate on some of the stuff. They also have kind of similar vein storytelling where they have a copper who's sort of in a way supposedly helping Nightwing, but it's usually he actually is not helping. He's actually diverting Nightwing's attention. Then we have this other bad guy or vigilante type of a character called Lady Wick, which I never knew if she existed beforehand. And she was wielding this absolutely like crazy knives, and she's trying to get the point because she's like gun for hire as well, and she's going after this guy who's missing, and all the stories surrounding him trying to be incorporated. I enjoyed this, honestly. It ended to a point where they found the bad guy, but it ended the way they opened it, kind of think there's more to tell. It's very intense and much more information than I was expecting to have, but also realizing how the 90s comic books were portrayed, right? And how they, as I say, I think they really did try too hard and make these panels way overly complicated. It's like, of course, it's not like these days now. We complain that we don't have anything in the background anymore, right? Nobody's trying hard enough now. And there's
sometimes that's what it feels like for sure.
Yeah, because you feel like, what's going on? Why is just like the black screen behind you or whatever, and there's nothing happening surrounding. And in here, it just screams too much.
Too much, yeah.
And there's like, I think coloring choices weren't great. Like even blues and yellows and greens and purples in the same like 2 pages. That's a bit way too much for your eye to kind of bond up and understand. There's lots of characters which were kind of like I wasn't aware of, like especially the bad guy. The bad guy in here is this ginormous douche, almost like Kingpin size, maybe even bigger, like an almost monkey kind of type of like a figure. And his hands are ginormous. Like, I mean, I can show you. It's been 1960s. It's not like really a spoiler alert, is it?
No.
But I was like surprised who he was because, of course, I'm not aware of it. But I can't find you. Where is this mean machine? Come on. Oh, there you go. Wait. Where is it? Oh, this is the guy. This is double page.
Hello, Donald.
Hello, Donald.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the guy. I don't see the scale. Let me see him ask you. Oh, yeah, there you go. Scale. That's the guy.
Oh, right. Yeah. Wow.
So Blockbuster, apparently, that's his name. Did you know about Blockbuster? I didn't know where. Apparently, he used to be quite dumb, and then he got really clever. And then when he got the smarts, he decided to go for Bloodhaven and become a lord. And he has this other ideas of how to take over everything. And he talks about Batman in such a thing like, oh, bats, he's like you gonna whimper kind of thing. You can't go run away to him because you're just like a sideshow kind of thing. And Nightwing is actually doing quite well against him. And then he keeps trying to kill Nightwing, and he keeps escaping. And that's how he killed every single person, by basically taking his one hand and surrounding the whole neck and basically try to suffocate you to death. And he snapped every single neck of the bad guys by himself as well, because nobody else can do the job for you. And Nightwing is absolutely like, I'm losing my consciousness. But then other people who they work for him kind of decides to, in a way, save Nightwing because of situations, So it's fascinating, honestly. You kind of like, if you give enough chance for the stories, and it enhances the characters more, because I know people, like some people really like Nightwing, some people don't like Nightwing, right? There's like picks and choose which Robin you go for. And then here there was like one panel or maybe one issue with Tim Drake. I am aware. The only thing I know about Tim Drake, they killed him, right? They decided to kill him, right? In the special issue. That's the only thing I know about Tim Drake, really, because there's too many Robins to keep up. Batman in general, the universe of Batman is so huge, and you kind of snips and things. One thing I would like, because a lot of people talked about really good things, is I think Tom Taylor. Was it Tom Taylor who has done this ginormous run of Nightwing recently? And everybody that he actually did really good justice towards the character. So I'm not sure if I can get hold of it, but this chunk of volume I found in the library really kept me entertained, and I was like opened a bit more to the character, to what he is and what Bloodhaven is all about, because I remember seeing lots of time mentioned Bloodhaven, and of course Nightwing has always been associated with that, but never kind of put two things together, right? What is that Bloodhaven? Why we keep talking about it? It's like the same, like Flash, they have a Central City, or Green Lantern, that kind of locations things. So I'm not fully aware of that universe to keep up with DC stuff, but it's fascinating, and I am kind of happy I have attention to reading this, because honestly I could read the second volume, because I don't mind Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon is much milder when it comes to storytelling. It's not as involved and character driven, whereas Dennis O'Neil is more character driven, and story unravels slowly around the character he's writing about. I really liked Batman by Dennis O'Neil. Lots of things I read with him, I enjoyed it as a Batman, the way he represented the Batman. And the way, as I say, that 4-issue miniseries at the beginning of this volume, like you could really sense the difference between two writers, because I didn't realize it when the Chuck Dixon started, because I didn't look really. I just wanted to keep going reading the book, right? I was like, that has a very different like elements of how you're portraying the character and where the story is going. And then afterwards, okay, look back and see who that, and it's like Chuck Dixon. Oh, it's not Dennis O'Neil, because selling point for that book was Dennis O'Neil name on, and anything Dennis O'Neil touches, I kind of want to know, because it seems to be I gravitate towards what he's writing. So
cool.
There you go, Nightwing.
Sweet. I don't have much. I'm probably just going to talk about these last few just at once, because there's a couple not much to say about. I finished reading Sanctuary part 3.
Yeah.
And it was fucking great. Of course it was. And of course it didn't go the way that it was gonna supposedly go. And I love that about this book. These wily old politicians still have another card to play, and it's so good. And it kind of throws back to early parts of the series, like stuff like this. I can understand the long, wanting to have long stories within manga and stuff, especially when they're character driven, because there is a lot of opportunity to do throwbacks to story parts that you heard early on, and character moments that you can kind of exploit. So this is so fucking good. I'm going to try my best to wait a year to pick up part 4 and start reading that, but I think that's going to be difficult. And then I've got number 2 of Miss Truesdale and the Rise of Man. And what I'd say about this one is instead of reading this, read Jesse Lonergan's Drome, because
What is
there's a
it?
lot of similarities in this story that he sort of explores in Drome. And I think there's moments that tie into Hellboy, obviously, because it is sort of it's in the Hellboy universe. So I get that side of it, but it's not bad. I guess maybe I would like it more if I was a huge Hellboy fan and had read all the Hellboy stuff. I don't know how this sits with Hellboy readers, to be honest, but it's good to see Lonergan's art and things. But I don't know. I think just get Drome instead. And then the one that I'll talk a little bit about is the newest issue of Martian Manhunter. They only had 2 copies left on the shelf, and this was the only cover, unfortunately, because
Really?
it's the least interesting. I think it sells really fucking well. The good thing with these alternate covers is you open it up and you do get kind of the first cover. I was actually thinking of taking this other one off, but that would be silly, so I'm just gonna leave it.
Leave it, man. Don't.
Yeah, no, I'll leave it. Yeah, it's a variant cover. I got to get that shit slabbed. So this one, we start kind of getting more into just kind of the depression that our main character is kind of going through, and some time has passed, and his kind of distance from his family is kind of growing, and you get the impression he hasn't seen his son, and there's still kind of this white Martian out there. There was a couple of moments in this one where I feel like it was a tiny bit heavy-handed and not in kind of like an interesting way. There's sort of like an Uncle Sam type of character that makes an appearance for just the briefest moment. They don't go with it too much, and that was kind of lost me a little bit, tiny bit of a misstep. But overall, it's good again though, and there's still some interaction with the reader, which I find kind of fun. Where is it here? Yeah, so here there's the Martian Manhunter gets captured, and then there's a connect the dots, and the character asks you to connect the dots, and then looks at you and thanks you very much for basically serving your country and helping out. So those kind of moments are kind of silly and fun. There's sort of the Uncle Sam-ish type of character. So overall, a good issue. And then we get, I won't show the last page. So I will try to show what they also do then is I'll try to do this then, because that other page has a pretty big spoiler on it. They also give you a little preview of another comic that this writer has coming out.
Because it's Vertigo, right?
Yeah, called Bleeding Hearts. So Dennis Camp, and then artist is oh boy, Steve. Does that say Stephen Moran or Stippen Moran? I'm not exactly sure what the hell that says. The lighting in here is and it looks like kind of like a zombie-ish type of story. I read it. It doesn't seem that interesting. There's a little bit of the guy that does the Goon, Eric Powell. There's a little bit of Eric Powell feel to this art. There's also a little bit of Dave Cooper feel to this art. And it just it's kind of whatever. I don't know if it's something I'm gonna necessarily hunt down to try to find. And then they also do another preview, DC versus wrestling. Is that a thing? Like, is AEW Wrestling Federation? So they get, and this one I did not read whatsoever. Who gives a shit about this? But it gives you another preview there too. So that's all. That was also the thing with this issue. It felt a little thin on Martian Manhunter story because there was 2 backup sort of sneak previews in this same issue. And then a bunch of ads because it's DC, but at least they put them at the back of the book, right? So, still a good one. Issue number 8, right? Yeah, it's issue number 8. So we're getting closer to the end. I'm curious how it's going to wrap up. But yeah, solid read for sure.
So does he discover that he's that white Martian thing? It's just his hallucination, or he actually can see it?
I mean, there's still the white Martian is still out there. Let's just say that. And now there's other stuff. Yeah, it's a tough one to talk about because I don't want to spoil anything since this is kind of a brand new book. So yeah, but I'm curious to see where it's going. I feel like last issue I sort of couldn't get my bearings again. And it felt like it was trying to pick up some pieces, but this one is kind of now I feel like now I understand what they're going for. Like this guy is really in a transition. And of course his boss is like, fuck you, man. I've gotten divorced. Suck it up, Nancy. Get out there. You're one of our best agents and we need you on the ball and this sort of thing. Right. So there's some of that at play too.
Yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting because the does it feel like it's dragging the story because the intent was it intent always to have 12 issues?
No, the first day was supposed to have 6. I mean, to me, it feels like that first issue was a little bit of a drag, and I'll be curious
Oh,
to see how the second arc plays out.
yeah.
It's starting to, I don't know, man, stuff like this. Like, I'm a big fan of 6-issue miniseries. I think that there's nothing wrong with a 6-issue, get it out and then get it done. A 12-issue series isn't so bad either, but honestly, like a good solid 6 and then peace out, like they did with Satana. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it if that one got picked up for another 6 issues. I feel like it's the beauty of these creators together is this brief exploration of a character that's maybe not forefront on everybody's mind, doing a little quick 6 issue and then moving on to another one. And I kind of like that. So I'm a little nervous about reading another 4 more issues because I just don't know how it's going to play out. Because I have a feeling that they were looking at it as like, we'll just do a 6 and then we're out kind of thing. But so, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Did you have anything else, or was that your last book?
No, I
as well?
told you it was my last one. I said
That's
to you
it, yeah.
that's why I would have. I was waiting to get more Absolute Wonder Woman too.
Mm.
Oh, did you? There's this. Apparently, I don't know. It's not even. I don't know what's. It's like so. There's a comic book came out called The Orc or Dork kind of thing.
Okay.
It's also an animal based. So an orc smashed with something of a character. I forgot.
Okay.
And apparently sold out. Everybody's going crazy for it. The thing is, it says it's not on sale in some places, but Americans already has been showing the comic. So I wonder
Okay.
what the hell is going on. Maybe the shipping issues was delayed for Europe or something. But I'm not sure if I'm going to see one. But apparently everywhere is sold out, and there's a second printing going on, and everybody's going crazy. This is next book.
Really?
Hot book alert! Hot book alert!
Hot book alert. Yeah.
That one, yeah.
I don't have.
So,
Do I have the banner?
yeah, half dwarf and the half of an orc. So, and apparently it's a comedic book with a lightheartedness to it, but apparently everybody gone like a little bit crazy for it and saying that it's sold out. Oh my god!
I hate Fairyland artist.
Yeah,
I hate Fairyland. Minor Threats.
Anyway,
And some
doesn't
extra
look bad to
another
be honest.
cover as well too.
But yeah, it's hot book alert apparently.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm not sure. As I say, I'm not sure if I'm gonna. I like those. Like since I read that Thunder or any animal-based characters, I do enjoy it. So if it has the fun, I hate Fairyland. I actually really liked I read like the first 2 volumes of it, at least, or 4 volumes of it. Actually, I am really up. I didn't think it's gonna continue for this long. But it's funny stuff with Gertrude. It's always been my thing, but. I'm more inclined to have like animal. That word is always really difficult for me to say.
Anthropomorphic. Yeah.
There you go. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tongue twister for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I like stuff like that. So if I get it, I'll let you know. If I do get it, but if I don't, apparently you can't find it anywhere anymore. I looked it online actually. Somebody, of course, already plastered £20 on the first issue price tag. I was like, that's why it's so difficult to fucking pick up any new stuff, right? Because you can't even like Twitch. You have to know everything up to date. You have to be up to date all the time.
But I mean, no offense to anybody, but like, doesn't look anything that spectacular, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't look horrible, but I don't know, man. It's hard to. Who the hell knows how some of these things they just hit something.
I don't understand it either, to be honest. Yeah, I find it very kind of like frustration comes out very much because if you want to get some comic book, but then somebody says like they want to decide that it's a hot book and then you can't really get it them, right?
Yeah.
It's like what the like it's just annoying. It's really annoying with new comic books sometimes. It's like what's the point? And it's $3.99, right? It's not $4.99, which is like refreshing. So I forgot to mention that to my comic book guy. So I'm not sure if he even has it, but he delayed my books to deliver because he received delivery late. So he said I don't want to bother because the week is coming again. So he knows that I order the books sometimes because in delay already. So he delayed it for me because he couldn't receive them on time. So I'm probably going to see whatever comes out this week, next week, I mean, so I can
Mhm.
add even more. So I'm going to have a chunk of comic books, hopefully. But
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
never, usually, I don't have anyway. My pull list is a bit sporadic, and not always I have it. Like 1 week, I have one comic book in 1 week. It's like, okay, not worth it.
Yeah.
Has to deliver, right?
Yeah.
But Wonder Woman, I'm kind of fascinated by, more and more, because it just sits really well with me and her magic elements. It's even more like she's kind of witch, and they call her a witch from that kind of underworld, and I like that, and I think it just gives the spice to a character a bit more.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yes.
Cool.
So you show me what you read. Come on, you said you read.
No, that's it. That was it for me too.
Really?
I read one of the Ninja Turtles books that I got,
Go on.
but realized it was kind of like in the middle of an arc, and I don't have part one, so I started reading half of it, and then I sort of just looked through the other issues that I got in the mail. But it felt, I can tell you this, it didn't feel super engaging, even though part of it is I don't have part one, but still it just I didn't really like the art style as much. And I remember talking to Colin about it, like the City at War stuff at the end. The print runs were a lot smaller on those ones because Ninja Turtles was on a decline. And I can see, like, if that's kind of a sign of things potentially to come, they don't kind of interest me that much, right? But they're maybe not the strongest issues, because then this is part 3 from that same kind of storyline as well too.
Yeah.
That's the next issue, and then it's issue 40, which is kind of like a very Bill Ray kind of Ren and Stimpy kind of look to it, which looks fun enough inside, but I don't know if that's something I'm super into for having the Turtles. And then the other one that I got was one of the City at War issues, which I looked through and looks fucking phenomenal. Like, it looks really good because it's back to the guys, so this is City at War, whatever part number that is, part 7. So yeah, issue 56. So getting there, man, getting there. Hello, Dan Elson, how you doing? You've just come for the end there. Nice to see you.
Late. That's okay.
You're late, Dan. Comic Cavalcade conference is coming to a close.
Talking about turtles, I was trying to ask my comic book guy if he had Journey's one. He said, sorry, he sold out. He doesn't keep the turtles. Goes. I wanted to ask you a question. So, the IDW run, do you see it in single format somewhere where you are at? Like, you can, like, chunk, like you can read
the new ones that are coming out?
Not now, but the ones I was reading beforehand with Eastman and Laird, that the 150 issue run.
Yep.
Did you find them in the bins?
I mean, I haven't looked, to be honest, but I'm sure they're out there. Yeah, at Galaxy especially. Galaxy does a really good job of, they would maybe argue that maybe they over-order on some stuff because they've got quite a good selection of back issues, but I'm sure they have all of those there. I wouldn't be surprised if they have the majority of those there anyway. Maybe not all of them. I shouldn't say that, but I'm sure they've got a good chunk of them. And I feel like those books were probably printed, in higher volumes.
We would think.
Like higher numbers, rather. So I'm sure they're floating out there.
I have Comic Mart went, just like last year a couple of times. Not even one issue I found.
Really?
Yeah. Because I started from issue 30, right, to read it, and it went into 150. So I collected 120 issues of that run.
It's pretty good.
And it's that gaping gap between those 30 issues. So I keep on looking to see if I can just like add to it, right? Because it's basically really missing quite a bit. Honestly, I don't see them here at all, like where I am going. But don't forget, where I go is really little and sporadic. But like Comic Mart, I always expected people to have it. And I was asking several like vendors in that time, said, if you find Turtle, it's because you went in there that time when they just put those boxes out. Then you're probably gonna find, but because they find they get like they sell like cupcakes. They say
they totally
get sold out really quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't know why is that. Because like you say, the run should be had quite because of all those covers, right? For there's so many ginormous amount of covers. Surely they should be spare somewhere. But I don't know. It seems to be maybe sometimes when you completely looking for one thing and you can't really find it, when you stop looking for that item, suddenly it
Then it
appears
shows up.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So so I don't know. So maybe I'm just blind for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I wanted to ask. So I was.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really made a point of looking too hard, to be honest, but I'd be surprised if they're not out there. I mean, it feels like, it feels like that's a book that should be out there in some fashion, but
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool. Thanks very much,
Right.
everybody. Nice to see you all. Dan and Comics Progressive and Library and Forgerelli and Paulo Costa, of course.
And
And who
420.
did I miss? Oh, 420, of course, and Lefty Blues off the top. Thanks very much for hanging out, gentlemen. And we'll probably see you next weekend, more than likely. So
Yeah, should be okay.
have a good week of reading comic books.
Maybe.
Yeah. Read.
Read.
Later.
Bye.